Sicilians were awakened early Christmas morning by an earthquake. The 4.8 magnitude quake was triggered by Mount Etna's eruption. 10 people were injured, but thousands fled their homes in fear. Temporary shelters were set up for residents whose houses were damaged or were too frightened to return home.
Fox News alert, the New York Stock Exchange opens minutes from now after a massive sell-off. Saw the Dow dropping 653 points yesterday. Its worst showing, 2 days ago.
2 days ago.
Worst showing ever on a Christmas Eve. So Christina Partsinevelos of the Fox Business Network joins us to talk about that awful plunge.
Yeah, I was there. So I was on the floor of the New York Stock Exchange reporting there, and literally towards the end of the day, I spoke to one trader that said there's no incentive to buy right now or to even sell. He was just so shocked at the news that you had Mnuchin calling the banks, asking about liquidity, about the 30 CEOs of the banks, and then the fact that you had the president taking to Twitter again to go after the Fed. So you had those two issues when they didn't need to be issues at that moment in time. Normally there's this, what investors like to call the Santa Claus rally, right before the holidays.
So it could have gone green, but they messed it all up.
We can't put the blame on them because there's just so many factors playing into these markets right now. Today you're seeing the futures in the green, so we could potentially.
Where are the futures right now?
The future, the Dow was up 170 points right before I came on set. S&P a little bit higher, not much, but just by a few points. But nonetheless, you have so many factors playing into these markets. It's not just Twitter and people on Twitter, but it has to do with the fear of a slowdown in 2019 and what that means for corporations. It has to do with the high level of debt that some of these corporations have, and it has to do with political instability, foreign instability. The oil, if you look at oil, it's below $45 US a barrel at the moment.
Which seems good to me because gas prices are super low.
Gas right now is on average, I think it's according to Gas Buddy, $2.31.
Okay, but so the Dow has taken a huge hit. And now it seems like a good time to buy. People are saying, you buy low and you sell high.
Right.
Things are low. So
yeah, the buy on the dip is the mentality that you would take. See, I think that if you are a seasoned investor that understands that if you're going to take on some losses in the near future, you can handle it. So yes, you have some of these wealthy people, and we have on Fox Business all the time, they have funds that are worth a lot of money, and they're buying right now.
They are.
For somebody that's maybe watching at home and wants to invest, a few thousand here and there individually, hey, I like this, I like Walmart or I like this company. It's a little bit riskier because of the headwinds going into 2019. You're going to, the benefits of the tax cuts, we're not going to see those anymore, right? That was the benefits this year.
Sure.
So there's a lot of factors that play into next year. So it's good to be cautious, which is why you're seeing even the price of gold go higher, because it's often seen as a safe haven. You
mentioned the president yesterday blamed the rising interest rates, and he also blamed the Federal Reserve Chairman, Jerome Powell, and that gave some people some uncertainty, and I'm wondering if that continues. Like, are we worried about what might happen there? And with his Treasury Secretary.
Right. With the comments, normally you don't have a president, and it's happened before, but normally you're not as vocal about the federal chairman, Jay Powell.
Are you saying this president is different from previous presidents? Because I've never heard that before.
I mean, you got to talk about the issue at hand, the concern about the markets. But the Fed needs to be independent. That's the most important thing. They're not supposed to play to politics. They're not supposed to play to investors on Wall Street. Just because investors don't like what he's doing right now, it doesn't necessarily mean it's bad for the economy. We've had such low interest rates across the board for quite some time, and this hike right now is still within the 2% range. So it's not like it's going to inhibit growth that much when you're seeing a hike. And think of all the debt that is growing. It's been cheap money for too long. So if anything, you have retail sales came out super strong. Unemployment, it's the lowest we've seen since December, 1969. You're seeing 7.1 million job openings across the country.
Right, let's cut to the chase here.
We don't even have the people.
The president does know business, and he knows the economy, and he turned this market around when he took the office. Is it going to bounce back?
If I could accurately say that, then maybe I wouldn't be working here. I'd be
When is it bouncing back?
When is it bouncing back? I think that there will be a rally in the few coming weeks. Why? Because it's a lot of people that are buying on the dip right now, and you have earnings coming out again, the next set of earnings, and they're expected to be strong once again. Will that tiny rally hold? I'm not so sure. I think it's going to be weaker in 2019.
Oh, boy.
But we got to end on a positive note, though. So there's an opportunity out there. You just need to know how to play the market.
All right. Well, we'll learn as quickly as we can. Christina Partsinevelos, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Well, the death toll climbs in